And hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and I've got another Ultimate Graphic Novel collection for you. I've picked a more recent one that's just been released in this series, so it's a little bit fresher in my mind. And this time I picked out Wolverine Old Man Logan, originally released back in June 2008, written by Mark Millar and art by Steve Mcniven. It collected Wolverine Volume 3 issues 66 to 72 and also finished off with Wolverine giant-sized Old Man Logan. I did kind of approach this book with some trepidation though. To begin with, it's set 50 years in the future. It's supposedly not an Elseworlds kind of tale. These events will actually happen, and I'm always kind of wary of those kind of stories because the way comic book storytelling is told, you don't really get a sense of time and years and how much has passed, and you think, will this really ever, will we ever really get to this point? Also, I already knew kind of the premise, the setup of this, with Wolverine refusing to use his powers, basically, his claws especially, and it was just in the back of my head, I know what's going to happen. At some point we're going to get snick. It's obvious. But saying all that, I was very impressed, surprised and pleased with this kind of like little 6, 7, 8 issue run. So yeah, like I said, it's set 50 years in the future and the villains have won. This isn't like a temporary phase. The villains finally won. There are now practically no heroes, and if there are, they are certainly few and far between, and they are in hiding. The USA has been divided into kind of states. Yes, they're already states, but between various kind of big name kind of villains. We did have the Abomination ruling one state, but he was taken over by the Hulk. We've got Magneto, who eventually got taken over by a new Kingpin, and then we had Doom, and Red Skull, who has claimed himself as the President of America. So we get introduced to Logan living in this barren plot of land in the middle of nowhere, but he has a family now. He has a wife and he has 2 children, and life isn't good. You can see that they've been through rough times and it's only getting rougher. He has to find the money, just like we all do, to pay the landlord. Of course, the landlord in this case of Logan's is a kind of 2nd, 3rd generation of Banners. These are kind of like an incestuous Hulk type family. He doesn't have the money, and he needs to find it pretty damn quick. So in comes Hawkeye. He's still a surviving hero, but unfortunately he is now blind. But he asks Wolverine's help in exchange for basically his rent, to help him get across country to New Babylon, which is apparently on the east coast of America, to deliver a secret package. Pretty much all the way up to the end, Wolverine just thinks this is drugs. So it's basically a long road trip with many a diversion with Logan and Hawkeye. Right at the beginning we have the rescue of Hawkeye's daughter, who appears to be thinking, and she's certainly dressed like a hero, but at the moment she's imprisoned by the new Kingpin. There is also the Moloids. They are trying to destroy city after city by, you know, digging underground and making all these towns and cities fall into the ground. So we get an escape attempt by Wolverine, Logan and Hawkeye there. We have the Venom symbiote, which takes over a huge dinosaur that chases after our unlikely pair. And we get a little bit of a cameo from the White Queen herself, Emma Frost, and also Black Bolt. He's in there as a kind of underground resistance team. All through the book, you are thinking, because they always call him Logan, there are mentions of where is the Wolverine, where's Wolverine? And you kind of get flashbacks and little kind of snippets and clues about what has happened to Logan's persona of Wolverine. I'm not going to spoil this for anyone who hasn't read it, but the final battle between the heroes and the villains, with obviously Wolverine right there in the centre, it has some tragic repercussions on Logan and Wolverine, which basically destroys Logan both emotionally and mentally, and at that point he vows never ever to use, you know, his claws again. And it's great because in all these kind of diversions that they have along the way, despite Wolverine's not wanting to help out, that he is basically just the driver, there are some pretty inventive ways of Wolverine getting involved, getting the job done to move on from forward without ever actually having to use his powers. And that's certainly the case when they eventually do arrive in New Babylon to make this deal for this case, this secret package, where they actually get double-crossed and they meet up and get betrayed by S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who seemingly kill Logan and Hawkeye. Of course, Logan's still got his whole healing factor going on, and when he wakes up he's in the clutches of Red Skull, and we have this kind of epic battle between the two, and they clash big time. The end of this, and I am going to have to be a little bit spoilerish here, so if you don't want it to be spoilt for you, what I'll do is I'm going to put the book down, and if you hit pause, or hit mute, when you see the book come back up, I've stopped spoiling the end for you. If you've read the book, then you know what happens at the end, so keep watching. So I'm putting the book down now. So after the clash with Red Skull, where obviously Wolverine wins, he takes the money he needs for the rent, and where Red Skull is living, where his headquarters are, he's collected like artifacts of heroes, and one of the artifacts is parts of Iron Man's suit, which allows Logan to get back home pretty sharp to pay the rent to the Hulklings. But when he reaches home, he finds his family murdered, and they have just left the bodies unburied lying there, and that is it. That is the trigger. You've been waiting for him to do this from the very beginning, and you really don't think it's going to happen. You think, this is so good, Wolverine's going to keep to his word, and he's never going to get those claws back out again. But clearly this pushes him over the edge, and he goes out to seek revenge on our Hulk Banner's incestuous family. It's very bloody, it's very gory, but he gets his revenge. And the series ends with Wolverine realising he's been hiding for far too long, and he's going to go back out into the world and basically destroy the villains. He's going to seek his revenge against them all and wipe them all out and make the world a better place. Okay, if you're back with us, for those who hit mute. So, artwork by Steve Mcniven. I loved his work when he did New Avengers, when it got rebooted, when they stopped the original Avengers, the disassembled stuff, and Steve Mcniven came on with New Avengers. He knows how to make a really big scene kind of epic and cinematic. He can really draw an action scene. So I really do like his work, and it goes right through the book. In the back, as your extras, there's a kind of cover gallery. I think these were the variant covers. So you have the classic Wolverine Hulk kind of homage there. Now some more variant covers there. And there. And even more. I think that was it. We get a little art gallery of kind of like preliminary pencils and sketches, which is nice. Some even more there. I hope you're able to at least get a glimpse of that. So they're always nice extras to have. We've got Mark Millar talking about Old Man Logan in a little bit of an article. And as always, it's the further reading section at the back. We've got also in the series, we've got Weapon X, which I've yet to review, but we'll get round to that. Civil War, I don't think I've done Civil War yet. There's also the Ultimate Superhumans, the Superhuman story arc. I might have done that one. I think I did that quite early on. But yes, so all in all, I was very surprised and impressed with this. Great stuff. So, see you next week with another one.